Hello, and welcome back to Building Financial Legacy One Lesson at a Time. I hope you've had a chance to listen to the other videos, and we're going to kind of revisit them a little bit today. Pay yourself first. What does that mean? We've been talking about that since the first lesson. So let's go ahead and get started. The mission is to help educators, families, and veterans overcome barriers to investing through education first, planning, financial planning, proper account setup, and long-term wealth building strategies, one lesson at a time. So let's talk about your homework and do a quick reflection. Engage with your financial future. So on our last lesson 4, we did a lot about Roth and traditional accounts. So your homework was to look at your current tax bracket to see where you were, if you were possibly considering which account. Also, to go and look at your employers to see if they had a match and to access that as soon as possible. And again, from lesson 1, you already know your financial independent number. So you had the steps to calculate how much you need to contribute annually. And then there was also the notification that you can contribute to your individual IRA as well as to your 401k or 403b. And if you're an independent owner, have an LLC or a proprietorship, you can invest in what they call the sole 401ks, and that amount is even higher. So there are so many ways to do that. And last but not least, we're doing taxes now, and you can still make contributions to 2025 until April 15th of this year. So there's a lot of things that you can do and options there. So let's just start putting it all together. We're going to be recapping all of our lessons to get to this point. So the first lesson, we did understanding your investment, your purpose and objectives. We talked about your short-term goals, your long-term goals, which also were related to these accounts. Your emergency account, remember, was your quick expenses. So if you have like a minor or major expense, medical, car, you have money there. Then your short-term account for unforeseen events, and that can be, remember, we want to maximize our money as much as possible, even though we don't want it to necessarily be invested, but we can be using high yield savings accounts because they pay 3% rather than 0.01 or 0.05%. So that's another way of start building that financial wealth. And then you've known your financial independent number for a while now. How much money do you need to retire? So now let's start putting it all together and see how we can get these accounts set up and what we need to do. So we first talked about those goals, like I said, is they related to these accounts, and to know your financial health. In lesson 2, we discussed debt and strategies on getting out of debt sooner so we can start investing. And that was our tracking also our income, having a budget. And then last but not least, setting up those 3 accounts. How far did you get? So finding money to invest, strategies for success. I like that. So we discussed that debt, and that's to reallocate expenses. So assess and cut unnecessary monthly costs effectively. So hopefully you've done that with your homework with lesson 2. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers to your savings account. That can help you start that emergency account. Also, you can set that up and have automatic transfers to your investment accounts. You can start with 1%, then increase each year, or with raises. Also, this goes back into our title, pay yourself first. If you have side income, just utilize that extra income to invest in your funds. So there's different ways of looking at it or thinking about it or assessing it. So easy ways to start investing. So we're talking about now looking into accounts. So they have what they call index funds and exchange traded funds, and they're based on the S&P 500. If you go and look at the history of the S&P 500, it has averaged 11% over the past 25 years. But remember, anytime you're investing, as I'm saying this now, this is just advice. This is This is not advice. This is just educational information. But there are risks, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Retirement accounts. I said over and over, look and see, do you have an employer match? If you don't have an employer match, like when I worked in education, we received a pension, so we didn't have a match. But I did check with my 403b to make sure we had a Roth 403b, which we didn't get until the past 4 years or so. So I was investing in the Roth 403b because that allowed me to invest more than what I was already investing in my individual IRA. And then you have what they call robo-advisors. So you have the big companies that you can go and set up your accounts, and they charge very low minimum fees. So that's something to actually think about, and I'm going to point it out again in this presentation. So diversify. So when you're going in there, you're looking at these accounts, you're saying, what do I invest in? This is a lot. I have no idea. Like I said initially, a low index fund, just search S&P 500 and their low index fund will come up, and it can be a mutual fund or exchange traded account. Look at the fees to see which one's cheaper, because they typically give you about the same return. That's when you can throw in your quick math with the rule of 72 to determine how much you want to diversify. If you want to get 5, 6%, or I would say 4 or 5%, and guaranteed, that would be more on your low risk side with bonds. If you want to try to get higher, it would be on the higher risk side, which would be your stocks. So you have an idea of where you want it to go. Also, you have some accounts that have target dates. If you're not really sure, you can always change it later if you're not sure. And if you're working with an investment advisor, you can always tell them what you're looking for or what your risk levels are, and they can make recommendations as well. So smoother returns, a well-diversified portfolio often results in smoother returns, because if the market is down because of stocks, you can lean on your fixed assets. So it's going to go up and down over time. But if you have a mixture, you have a little bit more stability. It all goes on your risk. So understanding risk and return. So potential return. So as we say, higher returns is going to be higher risk. So higher returns often come with increased risk, requiring careful consideration before making these investment decisions. But remember, this is long term. So you may see it go up and down. I had to practice myself not looking at my accounts every day, because it's like, oh my gosh, we lost a lot of money. I could have just went on ahead and paid cash for that car I was thinking about I wanted to get because we had lost that much in one day. But I was like, okay, it will come back, and it did. Importance of patience, and that's why you need to be patient and just, I kind of say, set it and forget it. Long-term perspective is crucial as the market fluctuates. Plus, the long term, or the longer you leave it in there, the more compound interest that you can make. So that's a big piece of it as well. So common investing mistakes to avoid: emotional investing or forgetting to invest. So again, hitting on that, a panic, you see the stocks going up or stocks going down. Oh, I want to jump in, jump out. I tried that for a hot minute, and I was going crazy and couldn't do anything else, because every 5 minutes, I'm not a day trader. I can't be a day trader because I've been a forgot. But the biggest piece that I see for investors is the forgetting to invest. So when you go and set up your account, especially if you're setting up automatic payments to go in, they're typically set you up in a money market account. So you will make some interest, but you're not going to make as much as if you're invested in a market. So some people set it up and like, oh, I'm done. I put it in there and it's going every month. But is it being invested? Is it actually in a fund? So make sure when you're putting your money in there, it's not just staying in that investment account and you're actually investing your money. So that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Chasing trends, focus on sound strategies, not fleeting market fads, and ignoring costs. So this is one that I want to definitely have you pay attention to. Always consider the fees, the taxes, and the investment expenses. So when you start working with financial planners, you might have some financial planners, which will be myself here pretty soon, that will charge you a flat fee based on a project or what they call a percentage of your monies that are invested. So that's something to consider. Additionally, if you're not buying a low index fund, look at the fund that you're buying. Is it a Class A fund? Class A funds have sales tax attached to it. So, for instance, if you're going to invest, let's say $1,000, if there's, well, let's make it even easier. We're going to go down to $100, and you can just move it up based on that, just to make it simple. Or so if you're investing $100 and it has a sales tax on there and it says 5%, you have to think, are you investing $100? No, they're going to subtract 5% from that. So you're starting off with less money working for you. So look, that's something to consider. And if you're not sure if that's over your head, that's when you can get a financial planner, and they should be upfront with you because they are fiduciaries, which means they are looking out for your best interests. And you should ask people that you're working with, are you a fiduciary? Because that can help you understand, hey, am I paying additional fees and I'm not even aware of, and my money's not working for me? So think about that. Taxes, you can go back to the last 4 of how you want to invest. If you want a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, you want to pay the taxes now, pay the taxes later, pay the taxes on everything as it comes out. So you have a lot of information and knowledge now to make these decisions. And then I can't believe we're already almost done. So let's summarize what we have done. I think I may have skipped one. Set up your investments automatically every month. Start somewhere. Start today. Most accounts start with $25. So start there. Then as you get raises, increase it by a percentage. You haven't had that money already. You haven't used that money already. So why don't you let it work for you? Why don't you let it make some compound interest? So for our summary and our homework, take action today. It's never too late. Remember, compound interest requires what? Time. So the sooner you start, the better. I started a Roth IRA for my own children when they were in school, when they would get their money from their birthdays, doing chores, their grades. We started a practice. You invest half of it and you can spend the other half. And today, their accounts, they have more in interest than what was put in there. So let it work for them. That can be their down payment for their house. That's building the legacy. You're getting that legacy started. I showed you previously, if your parents had invested $1,000 for you when you were born and you get ready to buy your house 20, 30 years later, you already have your 20% down payment and avoiding paying the PMIs. So that legacy starts early. Our kids, we throw away more money on just stuff. We're going to give it to them anyway. So let's start having them build that habit of investing it now and celebrating when we see that compound interest hits the accounts. So here's your homework for today. Start your investment journey. If you haven't already, when is a better time? If you have already, well, I'm going to say some things for both of you. Starting your investment journey, I know it can be overwhelming, but remember, you can take small, consistent steps. So, small, start little. I'm not saying go and take a loan and start investing. If you have debt, remember, you need to pay that off because paying 25% and getting back 7% makes no sense. Um, Consistent. If you have that already taken care of, have it set up automatically. What you have is your cost dollar averaging, which means if you're investing every month, if the market is going up, you're going to invest less. But when it goes down that next month, you've already invested and you're going to get more. And it's like I say, set it and forget it. If it's coming out every month, first of all, you haven't spent it, you haven't seen it, you're not missing it. Then on top of that, you're getting the market when it's going up and down. You'll hear some people say, "Oh no, put it all in there at once." Well, if you don't have, what's the max that you can put in for the IRAs this year? 7,500. If you don't have 7,500, then have it come out each month. Divide that up by 12 or by 26 if you get paid bi-weekly. That's just a way to just set it and forget it. So you definitely want to automate your investments. Remember, it's the long term. So don't get frustrated if you put in there and the next day it's $1 less, $10 less. Let the market do its thing, and then look at, can you increase your investment? Are you getting a big pay coming in and you haven't maxed out for 2025? This may be the time to do that before April 15th. And then build in there a celebration goal. When are you going to celebrate? Are you going to celebrate when you go from three figures, three digits, then the hundreds to the thousands, or then from the thousands to the 10,000s, the 10,000s to 100,000s? Or if you see how much money you're getting in interest, think about when you're going to celebrate and make this a fun activity, something you can do and just see. Just let your money just work for you. You're going to be like this picture after a while. You got money hanging off the trees. And I'm telling you, when you have that, it helps you build your confidence. It helps you make good choices because you don't have to worry about it. You have those things set in place, from your first account for your short term to your long term, and then you're in that financial independent number. You can retire and retire while you can still enjoy it. So, hey, let your money work for you. And last but not least, thank you for joining me in Building Financial Legacy. Please subscribe or comment below if this lesson was helpful or any other topic. Sorry, I had my throat. But if there's any other topic that interests you. So remember to continue learning, asking questions, and taking the time to understand your options, one lesson at a time. I'm not sure what the next episode is because I'm trying to set up a live presentation with a person that I know that went through all these steps so they can share how they were successful and some things that they suggest or not suggest. So hopefully that will be posting soon, and we can get that done, and then hopefully I'll see you again later. Till then, take it one lesson at a time. But remember, pay yourself first too, and you are worth it. Have a wonderful day.